Hey guys, Riley from Griff's Garage here. From our first video when we went drifting on the practice day from Keep It Reet, we had the GT86 with next to no mods. It was all just lock kits and intake, lock diff, and took it for a skid. Went pretty good. We've been a couple of times now, and every time we do something different to the car and then keep going and yeah, go again, test it all out, all that sort of stuff. So the next part was pretty much driving and drivability, and like now we're getting a little bit better. We can get, we're trying to do third gear around like the big sweepers and up the walls and stuff like that. So I just think a bit more power would do it. So after this practice day that we just went to, we're now putting a turbo on. So this is where we're at with the turbo install. Yeah, and I'll run you through. We wanted to do things a little bit differently just because, we can. So obviously eBay turbo, eBay dump, all of it, everything came with most of the stuff. I changed all the silicon on it because it was all red. I'm not a fan of red, but I'm a fan of black, obviously. Yeah, it came with a front mount, but I did the crash bar, like just a little 1-bar crash bar thing, and then the brackets that come with it was shite, so I ended up welding this triangle thing. I think it looks pretty nice. It's got a little fold in it to make it sit where I want it to. We had an oil cooler last time, but it wasn't mounted very well, so we've mounted that onto the crash bar as well. That I guess goes hand in hand with turbos and trying to keep the car cool. Just a standard potty, K&N oil filter. Yeah. Silicon joiners. Oh, the only kind of funny part we did was a screamer instead of internally gated. We've got externally gated, and it's on the manifold down there. I don't know if you can see it, but down there she is, and then that comes off, and then goes up, and then hopefully does something out there. Yet to test it, but yeah. So that was pretty much turbo side of things. Just hooked up to the old exhaust. It was 2.5 all the way through. Catch can setup you've seen. That's about it for the turbo stuff. And like just cooling. Cooling was, yeah, oil cooler goes through, and then we ended up putting a vent. So just got all those things that I've just run through then. And that was pretty much it. There was some finicky stuff with the turbo install. I didn't have to take the intake manifold off, which a lot of people say you have to, but I got my fingers all up in there and clamped the vacuum lines, which is a bit of a pain, but it's not that bad. Yeah, oil feed, cooling lines, all that stuff's pretty simple at all. You just look at the HKS and see how they've all done it there. So I just copied that, and the eBay one worked pretty much the same. So that was about it. We had to do a little bit of fabbing for the catch cans, and so the catch can from there to there. And what was the other one? There was another one that I had to get welded on because I'm not the best welder. Oh, the oil drain plug is somewhere under there. You might see it. Under there we had to get that welded on because I'm not the most confident welder, and it had to be watertight. So Alrighty, so long story short, bought a Bosch 440 litre pump for the 86, and she was too big. Didn't fit in the cradle and all that sort of jazz, so really probably don't need 440 litres. So I ended up buying Deechworks 300C, so 340, and it comes with the plug and everything, so I don't have to play around with the soldering on because I suck with wiring. Plug, grommets, bang, should go in pretty well. I've watched a couple of YouTube videos on how to do it, but as soon as you start undoing, it's pretty self-explanatory how to do it. Yeah, I'll try and get that in. This has got a mad big bottom on it, so that was the Bosch 440. It's just too big to fit in it and wouldn't even like tighten up into the fuel tank or whatever, so I'll use that on the Skyline because that needs a new one. So I'll save that bad boy over there. Also, while I've got the cradle and everything out, got a GK Tech flap. So when you're doing, I think it's hard right turns, the flap keeps the fuel inside the cradle so you don't get any fuel starvation, which is good. I haven't felt any yet, but I've always kept like a full tank, so I don't know if that means anything, but I don't know. If we have the turbo and we're swinging into corners a bit harder, might not have that problem with this bad boy on. So thanks to GK Tech, they're always unreal. As soon as you buy something, it's there on your doorstep in 2 days, and if you've got any dramas with anything or need to know how to put it in, they email you within 24 hours after your email, so they're pretty good there. So as you can see, I've just botched up the old one again to get it running again, because obviously the 440, that stalk's way too long. The whole thing of it's way too long, just didn't seat well in the top part, so it wasn't sucking all the fuel in. It was getting a tiny bit at the start, but as soon as it came up to pressure, I just blew all the rings down and wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So gonna pop this new one in and see how it goes. Alright, so that's it. It's all in. GK Tech made the most simplest, easiest to put in part ever in the history of the world. That it was almost like it was made for it. So don't know what's going on there. They've literally got like 2 little prongs in there that you stick it in, pop it in. I don't know if they did that on purpose or what, for someone to make it up like GK Tech, but don't know, it works. It's all back in there. It's just like, what, 5 minutes to put that in? Seconds, really. So that was great, easy to do. Now I just got to get it back in the car, put it back in there. We're in Australia, so on a GT86, they are on the passenger side. Don't undo the other one like I did, watching all the American ones go, whichever way. So it's behind the passenger when you're in Australia, and the other side, I don't know, there's a cord going to it, but I didn't get too far into it, so don't worry about it. So I found it and got it out, got a new one in, put a grommet on it, stick it back in the same way, clicks in, you feel it click in, goes well. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna pop it back in the car and then go on to the next thing. to do now is I'm going to put some new spark plugs in there. Just some iridiums, new injectors. Got 4 of them with the harnesses. That's handy. Injectors, harness, fuel pump. You've already seen that's gone through. We've done all that, and that's about it. Just we've got to run it. We've got to run it for a little bit, get it up to temp, just to test everything. I want to test the wastegate because that's an eBay wastegate, and I heard they're so yeah, I'll test if that works or not. But we'll do that. Test if there's any leaks, anything like that. And that's about it. Then it's pretty much done. Oh, I did forget one thing. We put a wideband in there. Just a couple of gauges. Obviously a boost gauge to see how much boost we're running, because we don't want to overboost because this engine will probably pop. And yeah, put a air fuel mixture gauge in there as well, so we can see what it's doing. Try to keep an eye on it at all times and make sure it doesn't blow up, but we'll see how we go. Oh, and the other thing is too, E85. We're running 100% E85, so we're going to flush the whole system out of 98 and we're going to run 85, so it runs a bit cooler, so that's usually what cooks these engines. So run it on E85 and hopefully we'll have a better chance to get a few more track days in. Cool, thanks for watching, see ya.